Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine. Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine. Avatara varishtaya Ramakrishna Yate Namah. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya pratyor ma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate who came to establish universal religion. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Today's subject I have chosen from the Gospel, Forewarning Words of Wisdom. All the saints and sages have given clear warning about the way how we should conduct ourselves in this human birth. Because we don't pay serious attention to these most valuable words of wisdom, we land up in some kind of suffering, unbearable suffering in life. There's a famous verse in the Kathopanishad, a very good Upanishad among the 10, which Swami Vivekananda used to say, everybody should read Kathopanishad. It has got very significant teachings, and it gives forewarning to the people living in this world. Nachiketas, a young, energetic brahmachari, he is asking Yama, the god of death, Shobhava martyasya Vedantaketat sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha api sarvam jivitam alpameva tavaiva vaha stavandritya gite. O god of death, these pleasures which you are offering to me endure only till tomorrow. Moreover, they exhaust the vigor of the senses. Even the longest life is short indeed. So, why do you offer all these things to me? O God, please keep your horses, dances and songs for yourself. Most beautiful message is conveyed through this verse. It is these pleasures that destroy the human qualities. It is these pleasures that keep the beings always in bondage. So one cannot get rid of suffering as long as one is clinging to these pleasures of the world. So, Nachiketas was very wise. All his senses were very active, very disciplined brahmachari. He knew the value of the human life, and he knew the goal to be reached. Sri Ramakrishna also has very clearly said in the Gospel, fix up your goal That is the way to go in a right direction. And he himself has shown what type of goal we should fix in this life. Realization of the truth. That should be our goal. Once you sincerely make effort in realizing the truth, then automatically you enjoy supreme peace and bliss. And you will be freed from all sufferings and miseries. When paper is wetted with oil, it cannot be written upon. So also, the soul stained by the oil of vice and luxury is unfit for spiritual devotion. But when the paper wetted with oil is overlaid with chalk, it may be written upon. So when such a soul is chalked over with renunciation, it becomes fit again for spiritual progress. These are the words of Sri Ramakrishna you find in the sayings of Sri Ramakrishna. What is there in the worldly life? How attached people are to it. See how many are born out of one person, and how his attention and energy are dissipated. Is it possible for a person to attain spiritual greatness under such conditions? Have you not seen crabs? The mother crab peeps out from her hole every so often and then goes back. She struggles hard to be free but fails. Why is this so? Because of her attention to her numerous young ones living in the hole. This attraction draws her back in spite of her efforts. So it is with those who are immersed in worldly life. These are the words said by Holy Mother, Sri Sharda Devi. At present we are like prisoners. We may get a glimpse of freedom now and then, but the world falls upon us when we are off our guard and drags us back once more into our prison cells. As soon as a man finds out, however, that these little pleasures of the flesh are nothing compared with the infinite pleasures of the spirit, he wants to renounce, not for the sake of renunciation, but because he has found something higher. These are the sayings of Swami Ramakrishna ji, a great disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. Brahmacharyam samapya grihi bhavet, grihi bhutva vani bhavet, vani bhutva pravrajet, yadivetarata brahmacharyadeva pravrajet, grihadva vanadva, yadahare vivrajet, tadahareva pravrajet. It means after the completion of brahmacharya, that is study of the scriptures, etc. in Gurukul, after the completion of the studies, one may become a householder, grihastha. After being a householder, one may become a forest dweller, vanaprasthan. After being a forest dweller, one may renounce the world and become a sannyasin. Or else, one may renounce the world from the stage of brahmacharya itself, or from grihastha or vanaprastha ashramas. One may renounce the worldly life the very day one is fired with dispassion. These are the famous words of Jabala Upanishad. All the Upanishads point out point out to us in clear terms that we should correct ourselves and make maximum effort to realize the truth in this human life. When butter is produced by churning curds, it should not be kept in the same vessel with the buttermilk, for then it will lose something of its sweetness and hardness. It should be kept in pure water and in a different vessel. Similarly, after attaining partial perfection in the world, if one still continues to mix with worldly and remains in the midst of the temptations of the world, one is likely to become tainted, but one can remain pure by living out of the world. These are the sayings of Sri Ramakrishna. If a man throws aside the vanities of the world, we hear him called mad. But such men are the salt of the earth. Out of such madness have come the powers that have moved the world of ours, and out of such madness will come the powers of the future that are going to move the world. These are the sayings of Swami Vivekananda. The seed of lust is in the mind. That seed is nurtured by the sense organs within and the sense objects without. Thus it grows and produces innumerable fruits. These fruits are to be chopped off and the seeds are to be destroyed. Afterwards, you must sow the seed of the Lord's name and you will reap the harvest accordingly. Sowing the seed of the Lord's name, that is initiation. These are the words of Swami Adbhutananda, another great disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. Yajnavalkya Maharshi once was to address an assembly of sages in Janaka's palace. Though it was time to begin the discourse, Yajnavalkya Maharshi waited for Janaka's arrival. The audience whispered among themselves about Yajnavalkya's trying to curry favor with the king. Yajnavalkya's mind was not running that way, but these foolish people thought that way. Yajnavalkya thought here was an opportunity to demonstrate Janaka's greatness. The king arrived shortly and the discourse began. Suddenly, with his yogic power, Yajnavalkya Maharshi made fire engulf the palace. The sages started running helter-skelter with their staffs and water pots in hand. Janaka was the only one calmly seated. Yajnavalkya asked Janaka, "O king, don't you see your palace burning and all the sages have taken to their heels?" Janaka smiled and said, "Master, nothing in this world is mine. The palace may burn, but it cannot burn me, the real immortal self." Yajnavalkya was highly pleased. He withdrew the fire by his power, and the sages returned to their seats. Now wiser about the king's spiritual wisdom, Janaka was called Videha, meaning one who was devoid of body consciousness. Janaka was not called a Rajarshi for nothing because of these great qualities. He was Rajarshi. According to Vedanta, the spirit alone is the ultimate reality. The differences we see around us are due to our distorted vision. Just as during twilight, We see a snake in a rope. Even so, because of ignorance of our real nature, we see differences in the world, which is in reality nothing but Brahman. The spirit alone is the abiding reality. The apparent differences are based on names and forms. Everything we perceive is composed of 5 factors. Being, that is asti, the ability to be cognized, bhati, attractiveness, priya, form, rupa, and name, nama. These are the sayings from Drigdrishya Viveka, a famous Vedantic textbook. The first 3, asti, bhati, priya, pertain to Brahman. And the other 2, rupa and nama, to the world. In other words, minus name and form, the world is nothing but spirit. Other names and forms are real to us because our own name and form are real to us in the first place. Body-based differences are real to us as long as our own body is real to us. The external world appears as it does because of our identification with our bodies. Our perception of the world stands to change if our perception about our own selves undergoes a change. We are basically the spirit, but somehow have come to identify ourselves with our body and mind. Through ignorance we have joined ourselves with a particular body and thus opened ourselves to misery. This idea of body is a simple superstition. It is superstition that makes us happy or unhappy. It is superstition caused by ignorance that makes us feel heat and cold, pain and pleasure. It's our business to rise above this superstition. These are the words of Swami Vivekananda in the complete works. Only a man of knowledge is fully above body consciousness. Till we gain spiritual knowledge ourselves, the body continues to be real to us and this impermanent world an abode of misery. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mamupeti punajjanma dukkhalayam shashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramangataha. Dukkhalayam, this world is dukkhalaya. People, however, do not easily realize the miserable nature of the world. Those who look upon themselves as organic entities keep dancing to the tune of their desires and believe that everything is fine. Delusion cannot go any further. Anything that comes into being must perish. Yajjanyam tadanityam. That applies also to the body and the sense enjoyments that result from it. Next point is pleasure, not the goal of life. Making sense pleasure a goal of life can only compound man's misery. Lasting happiness is possible only in the infinite, not in the finite, says the famous Chandogya Upanishad. Cursed to premature old age by an incensed sage, King Yayati borrowed his son's youth and enjoyed sense pleasures for many, many years. At the end of it all, he discovered a profound truth. Never can desires be quenched by enjoying sense objects. Like fire fed with ghee, it only flames up all the more. These are taken from Bhagavad. The body may be a vehicle for sense pleasure, but it is more a source of pain when it contracts diseases. Nothing is comparable to the misery of the sense-bound man when his sense desires are intact, but the body is not fit enough to satisfy them. Death is an unthinkable nightmare for such people in that it snatches them forcibly from their body. when they identify with and pamper all through life. Sixfold attribute. Human beings are animals. Everybody is characterized by 6 attributes. Jayate, comes into being. Asti, has an objective existence. Vardhate, grows. Viparinamate, undergoes modifications. Apakshiyate, decays. Nashyati, dies. So these are the 6 attributes. Sometimes you wonder if holy men could have diseases. All bodies decay and die, and those of holy men and incarnations are no exception. Some followers of a holy man who passed away in the middle of the last century believed that his body would not putrefy on death. When he died, they neither cremated nor buried the body for a few days, with a view to preserving it. Only when the body started stinking did they inter it and make a memorial for him. Great souls too get diseases, but how they face them holds a lesson for humanity. What is a great soul's attitude towards diseases? Sri Ramakrishna, who was worshipped as an incarnation of God in his own lifetime, had throat cancer during his last days. Some devotees began to wonder if he could have cancer. The devotees of the inner circle, including his monastic disciples, however, tended Sri Ramakrishna, understanding that the law was taking its own course with regard to his body. Sri Ramakrishna remarked that his disease was meant to sift the inner circle of his devotees from those who just came and inquired how he was. What is of significance is this. Even with excruciating pain from throat cancer, Sri Ramakrishna ceaselessly talked of nothing but God, sometimes by signs if he could not speak audibly. He believed helping anyone sincerely interested in advancing towards God. This moment he would talk with the doctor about his pain, and the next moment his mind would soar in samadhi to superconscious realms of divinity. Harinath, a disciple of his and later Swami Chidananda, did not believe that the master was overcome by the disease. He understood that the master was living his own teaching. Let the body and the affliction take care of themselves. O mind, you dwell in bliss. One day at Kasipur, Harinath asked Sri Ramakrishna, Sir, how are you? The master replied, Oh, I am in great pain. I can't eat anything, and there is unbearable pain in my throat. Harinath knew that the knower of Brahman is beyond the pairs of opposites, pleasure and pain. He understood that the master was testing him, so he said to him humbly, Sir, whatever you may say, I see you as an infinite ocean of bliss. At this Sri Ramakrishna said with a smile, This rascal has found me out. This is taken from God lived with them. Holy Mother Sri Sharda Devi had rheumatism as a constant companion for most of her life. But she told a disciple that if only she withdrew her mind a little from the knee, the pain just disappeared. Swami Vivekananda contracted asthma and diabetes during the last part of his life. In his own words, Swamiji said, I had such a spell of asthma that I felt like dying. But from within, with every breath arose the deep-toned sound, I am He, I am He. Resting on the pillow, I was waiting for the vital breath to depart, and observing all the time that from within was being heard the sound of I am He, I am He. I could hear all along, the Brahman, the one without a second, alone exists. Nothing manifold exists in the world. Swamiji says in the complete works. Sri Ramakrishna remarked, that diseases are the tax the soul has to pay for dwelling in the body. Generally, diseases are believed to be the result of one's karma. But with God-centered souls like Sri Ramakrishna, they are believed to be the result of their taking upon themselves the sin of others. Parenthetically, we mention here the purifying effect the contemplation of these holy forms can have on us. Our mind cannot but think of the pure and strong mind that animated those external forms and get purified in the process. So the ideal before us is the next point. For the sense-bound, the body may be just an instrument of sense enjoyment. But for the discriminating, it is a vehicle for getting rid of worldliness and realizing our true divine nature with the help of spiritual disciplines. The body is primarily an instrument for the practice of dharma. As the saying goes, Shariramadhyam Kalu Dharma Sadhanam. Thus the body deserves to be taken care of even as a vehicle is properly maintained to serve its purpose. The Kathopanishad again compares the human body to a chariot in which dwells the individual soul. Proper nutrition and regular exercise help the body remain fit for spiritual practice, whatever be our path, karma yoga, jnana yoga, raja yoga or bhakti yoga. A spiritual aspirant takes care of his body and undergoes treatment for his ailments so that his body continues to be a fit instrument for spiritual practice and service to others, rather than being a burden to anyone. Sri Ramakrishna and Swamiji stressed the essentials of religion rather than its non-essentials or secondary details, which are useful only as means to the realization of the divinity inherent in man. A true devotee of Sri Ramakrishna will not pray as much to be rid of diseases as to get strength to suffer them. His ideal will be to keep his mind in bliss even if the body is subject to afflictions and pain. Sri Ramana Maharshi, the 20th century saint of Tiruvannamalai, who revived the Vichara Marga, the path of self-inquiry, was afflicted with cancer in his arm. A man of realization that he was, he underwent surgery at the instance of devotees, but without anesthesia. Swami Chidananda not only found the truth about his master, but also demonstrated by his sterling life the mind could indeed be detached from the body by practice and training. In his later days, Swami Chidananda underwent surgery for a carbuncle on his back without anesthesia. An important teaching that occurs in Swami Chidananda's letters is based on the Master's maxim, let the body and the affliction take care of themselves. O my mind, you dwell in bliss. He encouraged spiritual aspirants to be regular in their practice even if the body was ill. The next point, need for mind training. The connection between the body and the mind is so subtle that they have strong mutual influence on each other. According to Vedanta, we are primarily souls but have put on a subtle body and a gross body. That we have a subtle body is evident from our dreams. Then we are able to perceive through our five senses, even when the body and external senses are inactive. The subtle body is composed of our mind, buddhi, prana, and subtle sense organs. In deep sleep, we are detached from the subtle body also and remain one with ignorance covering the Atma. The aforementioned superhuman feats of detachment from the body is a result of a strong willpower, a strong, purified will that could detach itself from the body-mind complex and root itself in the Atman, the divine core behind them. Will being the dynamic aspect of buddhi, strengthening it means awakening the buddhi and directing it towards the Atman, which is what spiritual disciplines are about. We saw that the Kathopanishad compares human body to a chariot. The rest of the allegory will facilitate better comprehension. The soul is the master of the chariot. Buddhi, the discriminative faculty, is the charioteer. Manas, mind, the deliberative faculty, is comparable to the reins, and the sense organs to the horses. The Upanishad stresses the need to rein in the horses so that the master could reach his destination. But this reining in needs to be done by the charioteer, who needs to be wide awake all the time. He cannot afford to be sleepy or sloppy. Unbroken horses and a sleeping charioteer can only spell disaster for the master. Controlled senses and a wide awake buddhi help one reach the goal of human life, which is God realization or self-realization. Next is glory of the self. Swami Vivekananda never thought it was too early to teach anyone about the glory of his real self. He held faith in one's real self as fundamental to any great accomplishment. To preach unto mankind that divinity and how to make it manifest it in every moment of life was his ideal in life. Nothing could be a better antidote to the simple superstition of the body idea than struggling to anchor oneself in one's real nature and organizing one's life accordingly. Mind training involves a lot of patient struggle and persistence. Giving it a different turn is comparable to reversing the course of a river. Acharya Shankara has commented upon the Kathopanishad in this way. But even a little of this practice does not go waste, but saves one from great fear, assures Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Neha vikramanashosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamupyasya dharmasya trayate mahado bhayat. And if one spends this rare human birth without efforts towards God realization, such a life amounts to suicide, since one kills one's own self by holding on to things unreal. Cautions Shankaracharya in the Vivekananda. Labdva katam chinna rajanma durlabham tatrapi pumstvam shruti paradarshanam yastvatma muktau na yateta mudadhihi sa atmaha swam vinihantya sadgrahat. Swamiji's words come as a great booster in our struggle. Drive out the superstition that has covered your minds. Let us be brave, know the truth and practice the truth. The goal may be distant, but awake, arise and stop not till the goal is reached. So let us follow these 4 warnings of wisdom and conduct the life accordingly. Then we will be really experiencing peace and happiness. I have told in different titles. Yeah, so there are so many titles are there. One is detachment, reality behind names and forms, body and pain, pleasure not the goal of life, the sixfold attribute, great soul's attitude towards diseases, and the ideal before us, need for mind training, the glory of the self was the last. Page 922, 923. The master resumed his seat. Mishra was describing his worldly life to the devotees. He told them how his 2 brothers were killed when the canopy came down at the time of marriage. Sri Ramakrishna asked the devotees to take care of Mishra. Dr. Sarkar arrived. At the sight of him, Sri Ramakrishna went into samadhi. When his ecstasy abated a little, he said, first the bliss of divine inebriation, and then the bliss of Sachidananda, the cause of the cause. Doctor said, yes, Master, I am not unconscious. The doctor realized that the master was inebriated with divine bliss. Therefore he said, no, you are quite conscious. Sri Ramakrishna smiled and said, I drink no ordinary wine, but wine of everlasting bliss. As I repeat my mother's Kali's name, it so intoxicates my mind that people take me to be drunk. First my Guru gives molasses for the making of the wine. My longing is the ferment to transform it. Knowledge, the maker of the wine, prepares it for me then, and when it is done, my mind imbibes it from the bottle of the mantra. taking the mother's name to make it pure. Drink of this wine, says Ram Prasad, and the four fruits of life are yours. As the doctor listened to the words, he too became almost ecstatic. Sri Ramakrishna again went into a deep spiritual mood and placed his foot on the doctor's lap. A few minutes later, he became conscious of the outer world and withdrew his foot. He said to the doctor, "Oh, what a splendid thing you said the other day. We lie in the lap of God. To whom shall we speak about our illness, if not to Him? If I must pray, I shall certainly pray to Him." As Sri Ramakrishna said these words, his eyes filled with tears. Again he went into ecstasy and said to the doctor, "You are very pure, otherwise I could not have put my foot on your lap." Continuing, he said, "He alone has peace who has tasted the bliss of Rama." What is this world? What is there in it? What is there in money, wealth, honor, or creature comforts? O mind, know Rama. Whom else should you know? The devotees were worried to see the master's repeated ecstasies in this state of ill health. He said, "I shall be quiet if someone sings that song, the wine of heavenly bliss." Narendra was sent for him. Narendra was sent for from another room. He sang in his sweet voice, "Be drunk, O mind, be drunk with the wine of heavenly bliss. Roll on the ground and weep, chanting Hari's sweet name. Fill the arching heavens with your deep lion roar, singing Hari's sweet name. With both your arms upraised, dance in the name of Hari and give His name to all. Swim day and night in the sea of the bliss of Hari's love. Slay desire with His name, and blessed be your life." Master, and that one upon the sea of blissful awareness. Then Narendra sings that song. We shall stop here. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire worldly lust, raging furiously within. Own name stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasing the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue. The playthings of lust are the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for Thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is Thy servant, O sweet one. In Thy mercy consider him as dust beneath Thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from Thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without Thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at Thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of Thine arms, nor bewailing the joy of Thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O Thou, who stillest the hearts of Thy devotees, do with me what Thou wilt, for Thou art my heart's beloved, Thou and Thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers. May all realize what is good. May all be actuated with noble thoughts. May all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy. May all be free from disease. May all realize what is good. May none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous reign in tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bonds. May the freed make others free. May good betide all people. May the sovereign righteously rule the earth. May all beings ever attain what is good. May the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of sacred works, be satisfied. For He being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the the whole universe feels satisfied.